Hey, Moon Dancers. We have a huge new moon arriving on Friday, May 1st. You can think of this full moon as the winds of destiny, the waters of truth, and the fire of release. There are full moons that simply glow. They rise softly over rooftops, silver and ceremonial, super lovely but distant. They decorate the night sky and ask very little of us. And then there are full moons that arrive like a summons. They pull at the chest. They wake what has been sleeping. They expose what has been tolerated too long. They ask for honesty with the kind of authority that cannot be postponed. Friday, May 1st, 2026, is one of those moons. This is not merely a lunar event, it is a threshold, a karmic weather system, a clearing wind, a sacred confrontation between what is over and what is ready to live. In the Vedic tradition, this full moon ripens in Swati Nakshatra, Pada 1. Pada means foot in the Tula Rashi, which is the sign of Libra. Swati is ruled by Rahu and is presided over by Vayu, the Lord of breath, movement, prana, life force, and unseen forces. In the Western and Hellenistic tradition, this lunation expresses through Scorpio. And Scorpio is really the sign of truth, of endings, shadow, intimacy, death, power, and rebirth. So something false is losing oxygen, and something true is asking to breathe. This is what the Vedic, Hellenistic traditions, when woven together, really deliver that unforgettable message of something false is losing oxygen and something true is asking to breathe. You may feel this as restlessness, as grief finally moving, as a truth you cannot unknow, as exhaustion with old cycles, as the startling peace of being done. This moon does not come to decorate your life. It comes to liberate it. In the great meeting of these two astrological traditions, I love weaving ancient astrology of Hellenistic and Vedic together because I truly believe that there's so much wisdom in both, and there's so much symbolism when we weave the two together. In my eyes, they're not separate, but rather these two paths to the same destination. And this full moon is especially rich because both Vedic and Western astrology point toward the same spiritual theme, but through different languages, if you will. Vedic says release dependency, find balance, move with destiny, and detach from what stifles your growth. Scorpio, Hellenistic, Western astrology says face the fucking truth, end what is dead, and transform through honesty, like raw, vulnerable honesty, and reclaim power from the shadows. Together, let go of what ended long ago, but still lives through habit. I'm going to say that again. Let go of what ended long ago, but still lives through habit. That is the heart, the essence of this full moon. The Vedic heart of this moon As I mentioned, this full moon is in Swati Nakshatra, Pada 1. What does that mean? Awesome question. To understand this full moon, we really must understand Swati. And Swati is the 15th nakshatra in the Vedic lunar zodiac and one of the most mystical stars of freedom. It does not operate through brute force, it moves through invisible intelligence. Its symbols include a young shoot bending in the wind, coral slowly forming in hidden waters, a sword cutting through air, and a blade of grass surviving the storm through flexibility. So Swati teaches what bends wisely does not break. This nakshatra governs independence, spiritual self-direction, trade and exchange, travel and movement, intellectual freedom, learning through experience, and detachment from unhealthy attachment. When the full moon illuminates Swati, emotions become clear around these themes. You may suddenly realize where you need more space, where harmony becomes self-abandonment, where people pleasing became exhaustion, and where freedom has been calling quietly for months. You've been hearing that whisper, and where you've outgrown a version of yourself. Rahu, you can think of as this karmic catalyst, and Swati is ruled by Rahu. And Rahu really governs hunger, obsession, innovation, foreign paths, disruption, illusion, and future facing destiny. Rahu often reveals where desire has become distortion. This full moon may expose attachments to fantasy, relationships sustained by potential, not reality, addictions to uncertainty, the need to chase what no longer nourishes you, restlessness that is really the soul demanding change. Sometimes Rahu frees us by making old patterns unbearable. I I love salt, salty foods. I love acidic foods, and I love really sweet foods. And all of this is very aggravating of pitta kapha. And what happens is that it manifests as canker sores in my mouth. And it's literally like Rahu being like, I am going to make it unbearable for you to eat. So you break these patterns that are unhealthy for you. You break these attachments that are unhealthy for you. And that's what this nakshatra, that's what this full moon is asking of you, to be freed of these old patterns and making them so unbearable that you're ready to break the shackles. And Vayu, Lord of the wind and of breath, that's Swati's deity. The wind cannot be owned, the wind cannot be trapped, and the wind moves what has gone stale. But when Vayu governs a full moon, breath work becomes powerful. Stagnation becomes uncomfortable. Communication accelerates. Nervous energy increases. And what is trapped seeks motion. If you feel restless right now, it might not be anxiety. It might be life force asking to move. And Swati in Libra, it's really the karma of relationship balance. And according to Vedic astrology, this full moon occurs in Tula, which is Libra, the karmic stage is often relationship. Libra rules harmony, beauty, partnership, fair exchange, diplomacy, justice. But Swati in Libra asks, can you remain connected without abandoning yourself? Can you remain connected without abandoning yourself? This moon may reveal unequal relationships, silent resentment, fear of disappointing others, performing peace rather than living it, attachment disguised as love, and loneliness disguised as loyalty. This lesson is not isolation. This lesson is balanced intimacy. And Pada 1, you can think of fire in the wind. Swati Pada 1 really carries this Aries Mars-like undertone. This adds courage, directness, urgency, and initiation. Mars, you can think of as like the commander of the army of the gods. And so you can expect with this kind of Aries Mars like undertones, sudden decisions, clear boundaries, the desire to act now. That's very Aries energy, becoming less tolerant for stagnation, a readiness to sever unhealthy ties, and potentially entrepreneurial sparks. This is not passive release energy. It is the gust that changes the course of the ship. Western and Hellenistic lens, this full moon is in the sign of Scorpio. And in the tropical zodiac, this full moon blooms opposite Taurus, which is Scorpio. And so Taurus asks, what is stable? And Scorpio asks, what is true beneath stability? So you can think Taurus builds, Scorpio purges, Taurus gathers, and Scorpio transforms. Scorpio governs emotional truth, intimacy, power dynamics, secrets, sexual healing, grief, death, rebirth, and psychic cords. So this full moon does not tolerate pretending. It shines into closets, locked drawers, hidden motives, and old wounds we hoped would quietly evaporate. They won't. They want to be transformed. They want transformation. There's a lot of air, fire, water happening in this full moon. And so we need to bring in the element of earth, this Taurus energy of grounding us down. Without grounding, then the fire with wind becomes uncontained. And water without grounding also becomes uncontained. And we have this kind of tension of the moon and Pluto. You can think of this kind of like underworld alchemy. With the full moon under pressure from the planet Pluto, this really intensifies the energy. Pluto asks for total honesty, not cosmetic healing, not spiritual bypassing, not another vision board while dragging bones behind you. What might surface is obsessive thoughts, truth about a relationship, power struggles, compulsions, hidden grief, the need to finally let something die. And the planet Pluto rarely whispers. but what it removes often becomes freedom later. And what I mean about you don't need another vision board, you don't need another plan while carrying expired attachments. You do not need another manifestation list while feeding old ghosts. You do not need to call in something new while gripping what already ended. Sometimes growth is not about building something better. Sometimes growth is about ending something fully, cleanly, completely, without leaving part of yourself behind. This moon is that moment. And what this full moon may feel like, you may experience a sudden need for solitude, tears without obvious cause, clear decisions after long confusion, restlessness in work or love, the desire to move, to travel, to cleanse, to purge, anger that reveals a boundary, relief after saying no, emotional intensity followed by calm. And you can ask yourself, is something collapsing or simply becoming free? Full moon rituals that will support you is the ritual of breath and release. You can sit with a candle, inhaling through your nose for a count of 4, holding the breath at the top for 4, and then a slow exhale through your mouth for a count of 8. And repeat this 21-ish times. And with each exhale, you're silently releasing maybe an old lover, an old role, old grief, old fantasy, old fear. And when you're complete, say, I release what has already released me. Another ritual that might help is burning the false hunger. So writing down obsessions, attachments, loops, everything you know that is over, and then burn it safely. And after placing your hands at your heart and say, I choose truth over repetition. Threshold cleansing can be a really powerful ritual at this time. And what does that mean? It means clean. Clean your front door, the bedroom corners, your purse or your wallet, your message threads, the closet floor. Scorpio is the ruler of thresholds, and Libra rules harmony. A clean space invites clean energy. My architecture teacher in art school always said, like, a cluttered space is a cluttered mind. And so cleaning up your space, this idea of allowing yourself to cleanse, like your car, clean your car out, clean out your body, like have this like purity to allow the energy to also come in that's clean and pure, this like sattvic energy. Yoga for this moon, a liberation flow, whatever that looks like and feels like. It could be cat cow, a low lunge, twisted crescent lunges, goddess pose, pigeon pose, legs up the wall, and using really long exhales and moving like you're wringing out old stories in the body. Remember that this full moon is ruled by Vayu, the Lord of breath. And so breathwork pranayama is really potent right now. And these Kundalini Kriyas of clearing using breath of fire for 3 minutes. Sat Kriya for 3 to 11. It's said that that's one of the most powerful Kriyas in the practice of Kundalini. And what you're doing in Sat Kriya is you're chanting Sut Nam, Sut Nam, Sut Nam. And Sat Nam means truth is my identity, truth is my essence. And so you're using this mantra, man, the mind, tra, this instrument, you're using this mantra to tune your physical, energetic, mental bodies. You're cleansing, you're purifying through this beautiful Kriya of Sat Kriya. And meditation, hands at your heart, like being with yourself and asking, what is true now? And letting yourself listen longer than is comfortable. The practice of Tantra is sacred ending, is also sacred love. Tantra is presence, not clinging. Sometimes the most tantric act is not merging with another. It's consciously withdrawing your energy from what diminishes life. Practices like mirror gazing, hand on the womb, heart, or belly heart, naming where intensity was mistaken for intimacy, reclaiming erotic energy from old bonds, and honoring desire without abandoning discernment. You can ask, where have I confused chemistry with nourishment? In Ayurveda, for this full moon, windy lunar energy may aggravate vata, while Scorpio intensity can stir pitta. So, really support yourself with warmed, cooked, grounding meals, root vegetables, like literally vegetables that grow in the ground, oats with spices. We're pulling in kaphic qualities, kitchery, ghee, herbal teas, sesame oil foot massages, and go to sleep early. Reduce cold foods, doom scrolling, and excess caffeine. Bhakti is like the yoga of love and devotion. It's the yoga of the heart. And when letting go feels difficult, devotion can carry what willpower cannot. Offer a candle, a flower, or a prayer to Shiva for transformation, Krishna for love, Durga for courage, Radha for devotion. And if these deities are unfamiliar to you, that's okay. Just know that you're offering this to transformation, love, courage, and devotion. And you can chant Om Namah Shivaya, Har Krishna, Soham. And then pray simply, remove what fear keeps alive and return what love would choose. And if these deities are not resonant to you, there's Greek goddesses, Celtic goddesses and gods. There's so many different ways that you can attach to these energies, or not even really attach, but more so like embody and awaken the frequencies inside of you of transformation, of love, of courage, of devotion. And maybe this is a beautiful time to learn and be curious about these energies that live inside and how you can represent them in whatever way feels resonant to you and your beliefs and traditions. journal prompts to help really embody this full moon and integrate the lessons and blessings of this full moon endings. Like, what am I done going back to? What keeps ending, but I keep reviving? And what chapter is complete? Truth. What truth am I avoiding because it requires change? Where am I pretending confusion when I already know? And what emotions need to be fully felt to be freed? Relationship. Where have I traded peace for approval? Who drains me because I refuse a boundary? And where have I abandoned myself to remain connected? Freedom. If nothing tied me to the past, what would I choose now? What would freedom feel like in my body? And what begins once I stop dragging what is over? A mantra for this May 1st full moon. I honor endings. I trust release. I choose what breathes. I walk forward whole. And a final blessing of this potent astrological time is this full moon is not punishing attachment, it is blessing liberation. Some doors do not need another conversation, they need to be closed. Some stories do not need rewrites, they need funerals. And some versions of you were holy for their season, and their season is now complete. The winds of Swati are rising. I can like literally hear the wind outside as I'm recording this. The waters of Scorpio are honest, and the fire of truth is kindling. Let this full moon clear you. Let this full moon free you. And let this full moon carry you into what comes next. Let this full moon liberate you, saying goodbye to the things that are over so you can make space for all of the magical, wonderful, amazing things that are yet to come.